Imagine waking up one day and realizing that money no longer controls your life. Imagine a world where you don't have to worry about bills, deadlines, or living paycheck to paycheck, where every choice you make is driven by freedom, purpose, and possibility, not by fear or scarcity. Picture yourself sitting down with a cup of coffee, feeling calm, confident, and in control because the financial decisions you made years ago are now working quietly and relentlessly for you. That world is not a dream, and it's not reserved for the lucky few. It is possible for anyone willing to learn, act, and embrace the right mindset. Today, I want to show you how you can take that first step and turn that vision into reality. The journey to doubling your money, building wealth, and creating freedom is often misunderstood. Most people think it's about luck, insider secrets, or some magical formula hidden behind closed doors. But the truth is far simpler and far more empowering. Wealth is created by ordinary people making extraordinary choices consistently over time. It is not about finding the perfect stock, the perfect property, or the perfect business. It is about understanding the principles, mastering the habits, and taking action in ways that most people are too afraid to try. Today, we are going to uncover the 5 investments that have the power to double your money, but more than that. We are going to explore the mindset and discipline that allow these investments to truly transform your life. Before we dive into numbers, charts, or strategies, I want you to pause and reflect on this. Every financial decision you make is also a decision about who you want to become. Are you the person who waits for the perfect moment, always hesitating, always unsure, always hoping someone else will guide you? Or are you the person who takes control, who acts with purpose, who builds something lasting not just for money, but for freedom, confidence, and peace of mind? The difference between these two paths is not luck. It is courage, the courage to start, to risk, to learn, and to grow. Throughout this video, I'm going to guide you step by step, showing you not only which investments have the potential to double your money, but also how to approach them with wisdom, patience, and the mindset of someone who doesn't just want wealth, but wants transformation. You will hear stories, see metaphors, and understand principles that make complex concepts simple, actionable, and powerful. By the end of this journey, you won't just know what to invest in, you'll know how to think, act, and live in a way that allows your money to work for you, while you focus on the life you truly want. So stay with me, because every word, every insight, and every story in this video is designed to shift the way you see money, opportunities, and yourself. This isn't just about doubling your money. This is about taking the first step toward a future where you are free, empowered, and unstoppable. If you watch until the end, you'll walk away with not just knowledge, but the confidence and strategy to start building the life you've always imagined, a life where your money grows silently, steadily, and powerfully while you focus on what matters most. Your journey starts now, and it starts here. Here comes a moment in every person's life when they finally understand that money is not just paper, numbers, or a balance you check when you're scared. It's something far deeper. It's a tool that can shape your days, influence your decisions, and ultimately determine the quality of your life. Most people grow up hearing that money is only for spending, saving, or surviving. But very few are taught that money is actually a form of freedom. It buys you time, it buys you peace, and it buys you the power to choose the life you want to live instead of the life you're forced to live. Think about the feeling you get when you're stressed over a bill. That tightness in your chest, that worry in your mind, that heaviness you carry around all day. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine looking at that same bill and feeling nothing but calm because you have more than enough. That difference isn't caused by the size of the bill. It's caused by the strength of your financial foundation. And that foundation is built the moment you realize money is not the goal, it's the gateway. Money can't buy you happiness, and everyone repeats that because it's safe to say. But money can absolutely buy you the conditions where happiness becomes possible. rest, security, the ability to help the people you love, and the chance to spend your time on things that matter. When you have money, you don't argue with your loved ones over small issues. You don't wake up with anxiety. You don't stay stuck in a job that kills your spirit. You start to breathe. You start to think clearly. You start to dream again. The truth is, your relationship with money changes the moment you stop seeing it as something that controls you and start seeing it as something you can control. Money is a tool, and tools exist for one purpose: to build. Whether you build wealth, build peace, or build a better future depends entirely on how you use it. And the first step to using it wisely is every investment you ever hear about. Whether it's stocks, real estate, a business, or even a new skill, begins with something far more human than numbers. It begins with a story, and that story always contains the same three characters: fear, doubt, and courage. People often believe investors are born confident, fearless, and certain about what they're doing. But the truth is the opposite. Every great investor started with trembling hands, a racing heart, and a mind full of "what if I fail?" before they ever earned a single return. When someone invests for the first time, the numbers on the screen don't matter as much as the emotions behind them. There is a moment where you question yourself, your choices, your abilities. You wonder if you're making a mistake. You wonder if you're risking too much. You wonder if you're even the type of person who can grow money instead of just earning it. This internal battle is the real beginning of investing. It's not about charts or strategies. It's about standing at the edge of something unfamiliar and choosing to take one step forward anyway. Doubt is natural. Fear is natural. You're doing something your mind isn't used to. You're stepping out of the zone where you're comfortable and stepping into a zone where growth happens. And growth always begins with discomfort. But courage, the smallest spark of it, is enough to shift everything. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you act despite the fear. It means you trust that the version of you who wants a better future is stronger than the version of you who is terrified of risk. Behind every successful investment is a moment where someone had to make a decision that scared them. Maybe they invested their first $50. Maybe they started a small business in their living room. Maybe they bought a property when their friends laughed at them. But in every story, there is that single point of tension, the choice to grow or stay the same. Numbers only come later. Profits only come later. Confidence only comes later. What comes first is that emotional leap. And once you make it, something powerful happens. You begin to see investing not as a gamble, but as a path built not on luck, but on learning, resilience, and the courage to believe that you deserve more than just surviving. Every investment begins with the heart before it ever touches the wallet. Most people in this world don't stay poor because they are unlucky or because life never gave them an opportunity. They stay poor because when an opportunity finally stands in front of them, they freeze. They doubt, they hesitate, they convince themselves that it's not the right time, that they're not ready, that they'll try later, and later slowly becomes never. The doorway to a better life opens quietly, without fireworks or announcements. It shows up disguised as a small chance, a new idea, a new habit, or a small investment. But fear whispers louder than opportunity, and many people choose comfort over growth. When you stand at the edge of a decision, there is always a moment of discomfort. A voice inside your mind tells you, what if it goes wrong? What if you lose? What if you fail? But very few people ask themselves the more powerful question, what if this is the moment my life changes? Opportunities don't look perfect when they first appear. They look risky, uncertain, and unfamiliar. That's why most people walk past them and return to their routines, even if those routines keep them trapped. The real tragedy is not lack of opportunity, it's lack of courage. People want success, but they don't want the discomfort that comes with stepping into the unknown. They want wealth, but refuse the decisions that require faith. They want change, but cling tightly to the habits that hold them back. Growth asks one thing from you, a willingness to act even when you're uncertain, but comfort convinces you to stay exactly where you are, even when where you are is hurting you. Every wealthy person, every successful individual, every investor who ever doubled their money, each of them had a moment where they were scared, but they acted anyway. They walked through. Most people think doubling your money is about finding the perfect strategy, the perfect moment, or the perfect investment. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Doubling your money is not magic. It is the result of discipline, patience, and the willingness to grow when most people choose to stay comfortable. It doesn't happen in a single night, or through luck, or by chasing shortcuts. It happens through consistent choices, quiet effort, and the understanding that small steps taken repeatedly can create massive change over time. When someone begins their investment journey, they often expect excitement. They think it will feel dramatic or thrilling, but real wealth building feels the opposite. It feels slow. It feels ordinary. It feels like planting a tiny seed in the ground and trusting that one day it will become a tree. Most people don't lack the intelligence to build wealth. They lack the patience to wait for the tree to grow. They pull the seed out of the soil again and again, checking if it's growing fast enough, comparing their journey to someone else's, and quitting before the roots have even formed. Discipline is the bridge between your current life and the life you want. It shows up in the decisions no one sees: choosing to save when you could spend, choosing to invest when you could delay, choosing to stay consistent when your emotions tell you to stop. Patience is the quiet partner of discipline. It teaches you that great things take time, and anything that comes too quickly usually leaves just as quickly. Wealth grows the same way a child grows: slowly, quietly, without daily visible change. But one day, you look back and realize everything is different. When you stay committed to the process, your investments begin to reflect your character. They show your ability to start something and not abandon it. They show your belief in your future self. They show your understanding that growth is not supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be transformative, and transformation always requires time. People who chase shortcuts rarely build anything lasting. People who chase discipline and patience, however, build foundations that can survive storms. When you choose consistent growth over instant excitement, you're not just doubling your money, you're doubling your strength, your confidence, and your ability to create abundance. That's what truly changes your financial life. Small, consistent investments are one of the most powerful forces in the world, yet they often go unnoticed because they don't feel dramatic or impressive. People think wealth arrives suddenly, like a jackpot, a lucky trade, or a big opportunity that appears out of nowhere. But real wealth doesn't work like that. Real wealth is built quietly, slowly, and steadily by ordinary people who choose discipline over excitement. What makes small investments so magical is not the amount you put in, but the habit you build around them. Every time you invest, even if it's a tiny amount, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become: someone responsible, forward thinking, and committed to a better future. Most people stay stuck financially because they tell themselves they can't start until they have a lot of money. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect salary, the perfect savings, the perfect mindset. But that moment never comes. The people who change their lives are the ones who start small, even when it feels insignificant. They understand that success doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. The power of compounding doesn't care whether you invest $5 or $5,000. What matters is that you begin and you keep going. It's easy to underestimate small steps, but they are the steps that build momentum. A small investment every month slowly turns into a habit. That habit turns into progress. And that progress turns into confidence, the confidence that you are capable of creating wealth with your own discipline, not with luck. Over time, you begin to see results. Maybe your money grows a little. Maybe your mindset grows a lot. But something changes. You start to see money differently. You stop living only for the present and begin building for the future. These small, consistent investments transform ordinary people into financially free individuals because they create a structure of stability and growth. They protect you during emergencies, they open doors you never saw before, and they give you options the most valuable gift money can give. When you invest regularly, you tell your future self, I care about you. I'm preparing for you. I'm building something for you. And that simple commitment is what separates those who struggle forever from those who eventually rise. Small investments may feel humble, but they hold extraordinary power. Over time, they reshape your life, your habits, and your sense of possibility. They don't just grow your money, they grow you. The most powerful return on any investment isn't found on a statement or a chart. It's found in confidence. Confidence is the quiet, almost invisible reward that grows inside you when you make choices that move you forward, when you step into uncertainty, and when you trust yourself more than you fear failure. Many people measure success only by the balance in their bank account, but true success begins long before that number grows. It begins in the way you carry yourself, the way you face challenges, and the way you believe in your ability to create the life you want. Confidence is what allows you to act decisively when opportunities arise, to take risks thoughtfully, and to keep moving forward even when the road seems uncertain. Without it, even the most profitable investment can feel hollow. Confidence comes from experience, from showing up, taking action, and learning from mistakes. Every time you invest wisely, whether it's money, time, or effort, you prove to yourself that you are capable of making decisions that benefit your future. That proof compounds just like money does. Each small win, each thoughtful choice, each step forward builds an inner foundation stronger than any financial gain alone could provide. Over time, you stop doubting yourself. You stop waiting for permission or perfect timing. You stop being paralyzed by fear. That inner certainty becomes your most valuable asset because it empowers every choice you make, not just the ones tied to money. What's remarkable about this kind of confidence is that it touches every part of your life. It allows you to negotiate better, to pursue bigger opportunities, to handle setbacks with grace, and to mentor or inspire others. When you have confidence in your abilities, money becomes a tool rather than a source of stress. You make decisions from a place of strength instead of desperation. You see options where others see obstacles. And you understand that even if one investment doesn't work out, your capability, your judgment, your persistence, your vision cannot be taken from you. Investing for confidence also teaches humility, patience, and resilience. You learn that there are no guarantees, that losses are part of the journey, and that discipline matters more than luck. Each decision you make, each risk you take, and each step you dare to take builds an unshakable sense of self-trust. And that self-trust becomes the foundation upon which all your financial growth, personal growth, and future success are built. In the end, the greatest return on investment is not a number in a bank account, it's the confident, capable, and fearless person you become along the way. Money grows in silence. It doesn't shout when it's working for you, and it rarely gives you immediate satisfaction. The truth about wealth is that it accumulates in the quiet moments, in the small decisions, and in the unseen efforts that most people ignore. While others are distracted by trends, flashy opportunities, or the need for instant results. Those who truly build wealth understand that growth happens in patience, consistency, and thoughtful action. It is in the discipline of putting aside a portion of your earnings, in the late nights spent learning, and in the sacrifices you make today that your future abundance quietly takes shape. The process of wealth creation, mirrors the natural world. A tree doesn't grow overnight. Its roots extend deep below the surface, invisible to the eye, drawing nutrients and water that eventually allow the trunk to rise and branches to stretch toward the sky. Similarly, your investments, whether in money, skills, or relationships, require nurturing and care before they produce visible results. Most people give up before the roots have even had a chance to form because they are looking for immediate gratification. They want fast returns, big wins, and quick transformations. But money, like a tree, grows steadily and silently when tended with patience. The unseen work is where the real power lies. It is in those moments when no one is watching that you make choices that shape your financial future. You research, you analyze, you plan, and you act with consistency. You resist the temptation to chase every opportunity, instead committing to strategies that grow slowly but surely. Over time, these small, steady efforts compound. The quiet consistency of your actions produces results far greater than any single, dramatic move could achieve. Learning to respect the silence of growth also teaches resilience. You begin to understand that setbacks are part of the journey and that temporary losses or slow progress do not define your ultimate outcome. You develop patience, discipline, and an unwavering focus on long-term goals. You start to see money not as something to be consumed immediately, but as a tool to create lasting security, freedom, and opportunity. And in that understanding, you realize that the greatest returns are often invisible at first, manifesting only after years of careful cultivation, just like a seed finally bursting through the soil into the sunlight. In the end, the lesson is simple but profound. True wealth grows quietly, invisibly, and steadily, and those who respect that silence are the ones who ultimately reap its greatest rewards. Every investor, no matter how experienced or successful, must face doubt before they can step into abundance. Doubt is a natural companion on the path to growth, because every new opportunity comes with uncertainty. When you see a chance to invest, to start a business, or to acquire a new skill, your mind instinctively weighs the risks. It asks, what if I fail? What if I lose everything? That inner voice is not a flaw, it is a survival mechanism. But the difference between those who achieve financial freedom and those who remain stagnant is how they respond to that doubt. Those who succeed acknowledge it, respect it, and then move forward anyway. Doubt is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to test your conviction. It forces you to clarify your intentions and examine your motives. If you invest without understanding why, fear will always win. But if you invest with purpose, doubt becomes a signpost, a reminder that you are stepping into something meaningful. Every great investor has felt this hesitation. They have stared at numbers that could double or disappear, and they have felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them. Yet what separates them from the rest is the courage to act in spite of it, to trust in their research, in their strategy, and ultimately in themselves. Abundance is not just a result of making the right choices. It is also a result of learning to navigate doubt. When you take action despite uncertainty, you grow more than your money. You grow confidence, resilience, and clarity. You learn to evaluate risk more intelligently, to anticipate challenges. You don't need to be rich to start investing, but you do need to start in order to become rich. This simple truth is one that many people struggle to accept because it challenges the idea of perfection. We wait for the right moment, the right salary, the right opportunity, or the right knowledge before taking action. We convince ourselves that we are not ready, that we don't have enough, or that the risks are too great. But the reality is that waiting only delays growth. Wealth does not favor the perfect or the prepared. It favors the proactive, the consistent, and the courageous. Starting small is more powerful than it seems. Even the tiniest investment, made consistently, compounds over time to produce results far beyond what impatience or hesitation can achieve. Every dollar you invest, Every minute you spend learning, and every action you take toward your financial future builds momentum. It may feel insignificant at first, but significance is the product of persistence. The person who begins today, even modestly, is already ahead of the person who waits for ideal conditions that may never arrive. Starting is not about having the perfect plan, it is about choosing to act, learn, and adapt along the way. The act of starting also transforms your mindset. When you take the first step, you send a message to yourself that you are capable, that your future matters, and that you are willing to invest in yourself. This internal shift is more valuable than any financial return in the early stages. People who hesitate too long often remain stuck in fear or indecision, while those who start, even imperfect, will develop confidence, knowledge, and experience that multiply their opportunities. Action creates clarity, and clarity creates growth. Starting early also allows you to harness the power of time. Time is the greatest ally of anyone building wealth because it allows compounding to work its magic. The sooner you begin, the longer your investments have to grow. Waiting for enough only shortens this window and diminishes your potential. Even small steps taken today are more impactful than large leaps postponed indefinitely. The lesson is clear. The barrier to wealth is not lack of money or lack of resources. The barrier is the hesitation to start. Your financial future is waiting, but it cannot move forward without your initiative. By beginning now, you plant the seeds of opportunity, growth, and eventual abundance. The journey to wealth does not demand perfection, only action, consistency, and the courage to start where you are, with what you have. Every future millionaire begins with this simple decision: to start. Your future will not change until you do. This is a truth that is simple to say but difficult for many to fully embrace. People often look for external solutions, better investments, higher salaries, new opportunities, believing that changing their circumstances alone will create the life they dream of. But without personal transformation, even the best opportunities often go unused or fail to produce lasting results. Investments, money, and resources are tools, and tools only become powerful in the hands of someone who is ready, disciplined, and capable of wielding them effectively. Your mindset, habits, and beliefs are the foundation upon which all lasting wealth and success are built. Transformation begins with self-awareness. You must first recognize the habits, fears, and patterns that are keeping you stuck. Perhaps it's the tendency to procrastinate, to chase instant gratification, or to doubt your own abilities. Perhaps it's a mindset that focuses on scarcity rather than possibility. Whatever it is, acknowledging it is the first step toward change. Without this awareness, no investment or opportunity can reach its full potential because the person managing it has not evolved enough to handle growth. Your internal growth must match your external ambitions, or the two will remain out of sync. Change also requires action. Understanding your limitations is not enough. You must actively replace limiting habits with empowering ones. Discipline, patience, resilience, and consistency are not innate traits. They are cultivated through practice. Each decision you make today, whether it's saving instead of spending, learning instead of avoiding, or taking calculated risks instead of hesitating, shapes the person you are becoming. Over time, these choices compound just like money does. They build not only financial strength, but also the character, confidence, and vision necessary to sustain long-term success. Your investments will reflect the transformation you undergo. A person who has grown in discipline will invest wisely and avoid impulsive decisions. A person who has cultivated patience will hold onto opportunities long enough for them to mature. A person who has strengthened resilience will navigate setbacks without fear. In essence, your wealth is a mirror of your personal development. The richer your mindset and habits, the greater your capacity to grow and multiply resources. Ultimately, if you want your future to be different, you must first become different. Growth begins within before it manifests outside, investing in yourself, your mindset, your habits, and your personal evolution is the most important investment you will ever make because it determines everything that follows. Your wealth, opportunities, and success are limited only by the limits you place on yourself. Change yourself, and your future will inevitably follow. Ladies and gentlemen, as we reach the conclusion of this journey together, I want you to pause for a moment and truly feel the weight of what we've explored. We've talked about strategies, investments, and tools, but more importantly, we've explored something far deeper: the way you think, the choices you make, and the person you are becoming on your path to financial freedom. The truth is, doubling your money is not just about numbers on a screen or percentages on a chart. It's about courage, patience, discipline, and the willingness to grow. Every investment you make reflects not only your financial wisdom, but also your mindset, your resilience, and your vision for the life you want to create. Think about the road you've traveled to get to this moment. Every hesitation, every doubt, every fear has brought you here, and now you have a choice. You can let those fears hold you back, or you can step forward with clarity and purpose. The investments we've discussed: stocks, real estate, businesses, skills, and even investing in yourself, are not just methods to increase wealth. They are mirrors that reflect your commitment to your future. They are opportunities to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined, that your future self deserves more than just surviving, and that abundance is possible when you choose to take action today. I want you to imagine a future version of yourself, not just someone who has more money, but someone who has more freedom, more confidence, more peace, and more control over their life. That version of you is waiting. Every choice you make, every dollar you invest, every skill you develop is a step toward meeting that person. And the most powerful part of this journey is that it doesn't require luck. It doesn't require perfection. It requires only that you start, that you commit, and that you show up consistently, even when the results are not immediate. Remember, wealth grows quietly, patiently, and relentlessly for those who nurture it, just as a seed grows into a mighty tree under the surface before it bursts into the sunlight. As we close, I want you to hold onto this thought. Your future will not change until you do. Your investments, your choices, and your habits are reflections of the person you are today. If you want your life to be different, you must be willing to act differently, to think differently, and to believe differently. The journey of wealth is not just financial, it is transformational. It is about building courage, confidence, and the mindset to thrive no matter what challenges come your way. The power to double your money, to change your future, and to create the life you've always dreamed of is in your hand. It starts now, it starts with you, and it starts with the decision to take the first step. Your future self is waiting. Don't make them wait any longer.